Hi, I'm Coach MK, founder of the Fitness Protection Program. I'm a run coach, not a life coach. We're never really talking about the running. Running is the tool. It's the conduit we use to examine the world we live in, as well as its impact on our own lives and the lives of the people around us. How we react to certain people and to certain stories tells us a lot about how we view ourselves. I'm committed to the thoughtful, intentional exploration of the importance of running so that no one discounts their own badassery, ever. Final note, this podcast is geared towards every runner who won't lose their home, livelihood, or health insurance if they show up to the corral with a hangover. Not that I'm encouraging you to do that, just saying. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the Fitness Protection Podcast.
It's time to get started with a nice, easy warm-up. If you haven't been doing your silly toes, anytime is the perfect time to start.
Hi, it's Coach MK. Your favorite time of week is here. Can you hear me, Coach Sarah?
Oh, yeah, I can hear you super well. It's the moment I've been waiting for, Coach MK.
I'm not going to lie to you, Sarah. This is not the moment I've been waiting for. I'm ready for this to end so I can go watch The Crown Season 3. So
I don't blame you.
If I'm speaking more quickly than usual tonight, that is why. Do not take it personally. There's literally nothing you could do that would be more interesting than this show to me. But I'm still going to answer the questions.
I'm not even going to try. I do not take that as a challenge. I don't want to even wonder what I could possibly do that would make. What I want for you is for you to go watch The Crown. I'm excited for you.
Thank you. My gosh, we just lost the Twitch connection. I'm about to give up on that. This last software update.
Oh my gosh, truly. I had such problems with it a couple of weeks ago when I was doing it by myself. And I was like, is this me? Is my Harvard not working today?
No. You tucked your Harvard in a little too tight, Sarah. That's what let it hang out on Friday's podcast. Yeah,
just
it
a
all the
little
way
bit.
back in.
Just a little bit. Gosh, happens every time.
Oh my God. Well, for those of you joining the stream, this is Coach MK. I'm the founder of the Fitness Protection Program. On the line is Coach Sarah. This is our favorite time of the week where we get to answer all the questions that are burning deeply in the hearts and minds of our runners in the Fitness Protection Program. This is Ask Away. We're going to go through all the questions that have been lobbied at us in our 3 programs. We have Maintain, which is a program for people who have a modicum of fitness that they would like to maintain. Maintain also keeps you ready to yellow a half whenever you are ready. No ramp up required. We stay in that sweet spot year round where you're maximizing your cardio fitness, maximizing your heart health, and minimizing the need to go crazy when trying to run longer than the half marathon distance. You're ready whenever you want to be. We have Rebuild as well. Rebuild is a program for experienced runners trying to rebuild the running habit as well as their running bodies after an extended break. Specifically experienced runners. We will eventually have an on-ramp called Build, which will be similar but separate. But we will probably not be launching that anytime soon because, gosh, we can barely keep our heads above water as it is right now. It is on the map, though, and it is coming. Finally, we have the weekly wins from people in Runner Interrupted who, again, are just trying to keep their heads above water. Runner Interrupted is a support program designed to help people feel tethered, coached, loved, and connected during an extended period of not running due to injury, life, or any of the other million reasons that could cause hobby joggers like us to not be running. Did you like the post I put up before we start? Coach Sarah, did you like the post I put up yesterday? I hadn't told you that story before about the guy that called me the patron saint of hobby joggers.
You had never told me that story before, but my God, what I would give for someone to someday call me the patron saint of hobby joggers. I want that. If anyone ever calls me that, I want it on my tombstone. I want that on your tombstone.
I think I want that on t-shirts. Patron saint. I need that for 3 days to spare.
Great. I know that guy probably didn't think he was saying something nice, but thank you. He did. Oh, okay. Well, good.
I was like, if you're a real coach, I don't want to be there. That's fine. Yeah, you can go abuse the people around you and just because you're certainly not going to wow them with your intellect. Good luck beating them down.
Right. Seriously. That's when you got to change tactics and go for the next thing.
Which kind of leads into, I'm doing a series on the morning mantra. If you guys aren't aware, we have a daily micro podcast called the Morning Mantra. where people write in with situations that they're facing and I give them responses or just a thought that they can hold in their head while they move through that situation. And recently, as we this lead up to the holidays, I've been doing a series called Shady Bitch Lessons. Everything I learned about passive aggressiveness that I really don't use that often in my daily life because there is no passive in my aggression any longer.
So
all
amazing.
The tips and tricks I learned in charm school to navigate and keep things going smoothly, even when everyone at the table totally hates each other. So it's a fun skill set to have. It's not one I get to use very often because I've curated my life. I've KonMari'd the bejesus out of it a couple of years ago. So it was kind of fun to bring these back up. And the one I'm getting ready to record as soon as we're done, before I watch The Crown, because once I start, I probably won't start till tomorrow morning. It's about exactly that. The best they can do is call you stupid. So when in a conversation, usually when they're trying to shut a person down, the fastest way to do it is to make you doubt yourself or to heavily imply that you don't know what you're talking about. You're not qualified. You're a dum-dum. I got a maneuver for you. And I cannot wait to tell you about it. That will be coming on the morning mantra. So if we're ready, let's go ahead and get started. Coach Sarah, yay, with the weekly wins.
Yeah, let's do it. Warm up is done. Feeling good. Heart rate hovering around 140. Now let's get into the heart of this podcast for the long run. So we have one weekly win and this is a really big deal. I'm so happy. I was so happy to read this and I'm really excited to share it. Weekly win. I am sure proud of myself for last week's act of self-care. Even though I'm insanely stressed out about getting all my work done before I have surgery this Friday, I took time out of my workday to see the therapist my doctor's office has on staff. I'm so thankful that she is available to patients and that the doctors understand the importance of having access to mental health help while going through cancer treatment. So way to bury the lead there. The surgery has to do with cancer treatment, and this is a big fucking deal. And I'm so glad that you had a therapist available to you. So glad that you got to go see her. That's amazing. Him. Sorry. Yes.
Is that standard? It should be. If it isn't,
it sounds like college to me, and I loved college because they had therapy right there. You need some therapy, go get it.
Science.
Yeah.
Oh, same. Yeah. I was so spoiled when I left college. The one good thing, and I have nothing good to say about Georgetown, but the one good thing that I will say about Georgetown is they did have mental health services available on campus. No one really ever was there to use them. So if I was having like even a moment, I could just like show up with no notice and get in and see somebody. I'm sure that's not the case now because therapy is just, it's everyone talks about it. So and it's a lot. It doesn't have the stigma that it used to. But the downside is now got wait lists and getting in before things get too far. And it's complicated now, but
yeah. I similarly, I was very spoiled in college and I went to a pretty small college. I'm fairly sure that that's still the case there. Cause I think that was something that like at a small college, they do have the ability to maintain like access to therapy whenever you need it. My friends in my suite, my junior year called it the stress floor. And one day I was just crying my eyes out. They were like, you should just go to the stress floor. Like they'll talk to you and they'll give you lots of tissues and it'll be really good. I think it's a good idea. And I was like, okay. And I went to the stress floor and it was a really good decision. I thank you, friends. Thank you, friends, for sending me there. I appreciate it. On that note, so I'm really glad. I am really, really, really glad that you went to therapy. That is great. I hope you continue to do that.
Me too.
Moving on. In Rebuild, we have, I believe, 4 questions this evening. Okay. First question, is a turkey trot a bad idea? It depends. Yes. I could really use the excuse to be by myself before what is probably going to be a long day with my in-laws. Aha. And if I end up bucket moment to just go, are there any boundaries that I need to consider? My local turkey trot is 4 miles and I'm not recovering from injury.
Okay. All right. So this is the most important thing to me. Like I fit under buses. This is what you're paying $30 a month for. It's to be like my coach said, and I'm paying for it. And that can be a trump card in a conversation where people are going to push back against you. So in this super expensive program that no one really knows what it costs because that they would have to Google it and they just want to beat you down. They're lazy. They're right. So I would say you need to go for a turkey trot. A turkey trot's a big deal, especially on Thanksgiving, especially if there's a food drive. You need to go and get food for the food drive before the turkey trot And you don't need to go to the crap grocery store. We talked about that in our most recent podcast. We're talking
That's right.
about the Thanksgiving edition. You don't give the worst that you have to offer, the things you don't want away to the poor. You go and you give them the good stuff. So go to the other side of town, go far away and get the good stuff, and then take it back to the race. And if they don't have a place to drop it off, then after the race, you will need to find a shelter where you can take that food. So this could become an all-day event, basically. So
and make sure the shelter is open. You don't want to go to a closed shelter with food because then it'll go bad.
Yeah, no, it's not. That's not a good idea.
Might have to go to a few, is what I'm saying.
Or a church.
Yeah,
some churches. And I mean, if you go, might need to stay for the service. I'm not trying to tell you what to do. I just don't want you to be rude. But when you are you're going to need to warm up for at least like 30 minutes before this 5K starts. And I don't want you getting hurt. I mean, you're in rebuild. We got to be careful. We are rebuilding and not re-breaking, right? You like what I did there? And you can use that with your relatives too. We are rebuilding, not re-breaking. I had to got to warm up for 30 minutes after the grocery store shopping. And then I want you to jog, not abnormally slow, but if you feel anything, I mean, like a niggle somewhere in your ovary, a little something in your butte, you walk. You stop and you walk that whole thing and then see if you could be the last person across the finish line. The last person across the finish line in the New York City Marathon, they get a feature in the New York Times. We would do a whole feature on you if you managed to be the last person standing.
We absolutely would.
Yeah.
And let's not forget that the magic is in the cool down. That's what MK always says. It is no less true in this case.
So true. So true. You might need to walk for at least 30 minutes after that 5K. So let's see if we can make that 5K last an hour plus the warm up and the cool down. That's 2 hours plus the procurement of said donation, then the drop off, the delivery of said donation. This is going to be like you're going to be busy until like 2.
Yeah. You should probably tell someone else to do the turkey because I don't think you're available.
No. I mean, that would just be thoughtless to try to put that on you. Don't let them do that.
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
No.
We are rebuilding and not re-breaking.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So you take care of you. And if that means that you're away all day long for a 5K, then we need to be away all day long for a 5K. I just laid out the business case for you because you're coached and you're loved. And this is literally what you're paying me for.
Yep. Throw us under the bus. My coach said so. Period. The end.
I mean, really, if you need me to tell you to spend the day away, yes, do that.
Yeah. And if you have follow-up questions to that answer, please feel free to ask us. I think, and if you feel the need in the last 30 seconds to just like absolutely bust a move, or I don't know, the last 5 minutes, last 10 minutes, you're not recovering from injury. You said it yourself. I think you need to have the exact day that you need to have, and you need to ask yourself, what do I want to do and what do I need to get?
What do I need to get?
Sounds to me like is what you need to get is like a full day of 5K devotion, or rather, you said, sorry, my local turkey trot is 4 miles, 4-mile devotion.
I mean,
love 4 miles.
That's a little bit more than 5K.
Yeah, it's a little bit more. You're going to need more time. That's what we're saying.
And the good thing is no one has any idea. If they're not runners, they probably have no idea how long it'll take to do this. So you could easily buy 3 hours.
Totally. I love it. Because, you got to find parking. Where I live, finding parking is a big part of the turkey trot. So,
yeah, there's that. I had to walk a mile.
Yep.
Terrible.
That question. Everybody needs to listen to the answer to that question because it applies to you too. Next question. I've been struggling with wanting to do the workouts this past week. Is it the time change? The cold, rainy weather? I skipped the Monday and Friday runs and walked Saturday's long run. Am I still okay? Reassurance, validation, and your perspective is appreciated.
Yeah, man, it's fine. I don't really care why you missed your run. And I say this again with all the love in my heart. It's not that I don't care about you. It's just if you're an adult, you're a grown ass human. And if you had decided that a run was not what you needed, that it was an extra hour of sleep, then I'm really glad you got it. What tends to happen in most of the training programs everywhere is that people sign up for an event and then there's nothing like the training for this event starts on this X date. So you just kind of make everything up until the first day of the training program. And then it's on and you worry about everything you miss because you're worried about not being ready. And it's this perpetual cycle of worry. What we're trying to do here is to make sure that in rebuild, as you're coming back slowly, surely, and intelligently, and you're not, again, re-breaking. So then that can be, we're talking about your body, and we're also talking about your mind. So if you needed a mental health day, take a mental health day. You know what? At the end of this year, those mental health days will improve your performance because you're not going to resent the run. It'll feel like something you're excited to do and not like something that you have to get done. We recently had, and just to further drive this home, we've made some changes with having a business. We've made some changes in the way our family works. I've been running first thing in the morning for years, for as long as I can remember, but finding a nanny that could work the hours that we needed was almost impossible. So what we were able to negotiate was someone coming from 1 p.m. till 9 p.m. Again, not traditional hours, but it works quite well. I take the kids to school. Either I get my run done right away or I'm immediately on calls. If I'm not able to get my run done in the middle of the day, I have the option to do it later in the afternoon or in the evening. So I tell you that to tell you this. You will find as we go through rebuild what your new normal and your new balance looks like, free from worry. I'm still a morning person. I still love running first thing in the morning more than anything. But you know what? It's good to have the option when kids get in bed with me and snuggle and put their little feet under my feet and arms around I can just stay there in bed. And that feels really nice to do on a cold morning when it's 22 degrees outside, snow on the ground, and it's still dark. I'm choosing to lie underneath a snuggle bus, and it's terrific. So if that's what you're doing, awesome. But if you're staying in bed because of something that you're not dealing with, I would sort of explore that and not make yourself feel ashamed or pressure yourself in any way, but rather I am extra tired. My brain is extra tired. My heart is extra weary. I needed a little more today than I have. What else can I do to take care of myself? Because I don't want this to become the sole thing that I miss. So you're not bad and you're not behind, and I'm not worried about you missing 2 runs. But what I do, as long as you are thinking about what do you need to get and making sure that you are getting that and are feeling supported, and that the final note is whenever a run goes away, what we tend to fill that space with can be really hard to get rid of. Kids are not going to want to snuggle with me forever, and they're definitely not going to want to care to be in my bed now that we have the Disney Plus subscription. So, oh yeah, worth every penny. Do it. Oh my gosh. If I had an affiliate link, I'd share it, y'all, but I don't. I'm just a mom with a run business. So let me tell you, Disney Plus is fantastic. We spent 3 days on it easily downstairs, and it was fantastic. So the kids are not going to want to do this with me forever. And so I can be a day or two doing this, and they also don't want to do it every day is fine. But if what you're doing, it's easy for that to become your new normal. So just be aware and let's not go there. Do you worry about what you miss? No, I'm not worried, but we're also not worried about performance, and that's okay too.
Totally agree. And for what it's worth, since the time change, it's been tough for me too, for sure. And similarly, the lifestyle change of having the business and everything has also forced me to do more runs later in the day than I used to. And that's okay. It's renegotiating the new normal. I feel like I'm kind of constantly in the mode of slightly renegotiating and recalculating. But you're going to get through this. Reach out if you need help. Reach out if you need whatever it is, motivation, hugs, validation, being reminded that you're okay. We're always here for that.
And just know it's not just you. Everyone has trouble. This is why I roll my eyes when people tell me who don't live near Sim or Houston tell me that they want to run Sim or Houston. I'm like, it's not your local race. And you live in Massachusetts or Maine. And it's, you know what? I get that going to California it sounds fun, but you could just go to California. What we're talking about is training in the dark, in the cold, with ice on the ground at a horrifying time of year for you. Is that really what you want? So,
yeah. That actually leads perfectly into the next question from Ray Bill, which is, how do you get past the fear of failure and disappointment to sign up for a race again? Not to mention the anger over wasted race fees in 2019. I want to sign up for 3 days of the fair, but $100 is a lot of money to throw at the wall, hoping I can make it stick with enough time in rebuild. I don't want to race. I just want to feel like I can run successfully.
You know what? That's why we pick 3 days at the fair. You can just show up. Just show up. They didn't sell out last year, did they, Sarah? You were able to show up, put your money down, and just do the thing. Granted, no.
They stopped selling entries a few weeks out, but that's not because of numbers. That's just because they put down a cutoff at a certain point on selling it. But yeah, no, I am not aware of them having sold out. I bought my entry on the last available day, I think.
That's my point. Most races, the ones that do are the really big races. The New York, anything that is close to capacity and is going to a lottery system, that's a little bit different. But those are also usually the races that you pick either because you want the experience or you're going for performance. And if all we need to get is, I don't want to race until I feel good again, take your time with that. When I finished New York, one of the first questions my husband asked me was how do you feel about this? Are we coming back next year? And I said, you know what? I don't know. I love New York. I'm never going to love New York less, but I don't think I want to come back until I'm quite sure I'm going to be in wave one. The churchgoers crossing the street like this in Harlem was not something I had ever encountered before, but it totally makes sense. I'm like, why did no one tell me about this? Well, I mean, who knew that I'd be crossing that part of the Bronx at, between 12:30 and 1 o'clock, it is a different experience running in the front of a race versus the back of a race. It is a different event completely. And it pisses me off how no one talks about those differences and the things that you need to think about, plan for, and worry about. But when I think about like, what do I need to get out of the next New York? I would like to be, and this is just not everyone should. This is not a rule for anyone but me. I said, I love this race. I love this day. I got what I needed to get today, but I don't want to come back until I'm in wave one, because I've been in wave one. And when I think about going to New York, this is what I dream of. It's that experience. All of the things that have gotten me in 2013, 15, and 18 on race day, because it all got me in different ways. Again, they weren't bad experiences. It's just like, that happened. One year I got like a goo packet stuck on my shoe and couldn't get it off. That was a first. And 2 years in a row, I fell in the same spot on the BQE as you're headed right past the half marathon point.
Yeah.
A hard fall too, against sliding in goo. And ask me why I don't eat goo. That's 1 million reasons. But so these are all things that I'd never experienced before and would rather not again. So when I think about New York, I have a very different memory. So I tell you that to tell you this. It's not about New York. It's about me. I don't want to go back to that race until I know that I can have the day that I've had before and remember it. I've been dreaming of all these years. And that is where I would want you, runner, to be when you sign up for your next race, not afraid of what's going to happen. I want you to be solid enough in your physicality, in your mental state, and in your fitness level that you could handle it if you showed up and jogged the whole thing. And that's what I kept saying to myself. Worst case scenario, I know I can jog this course at a 10-minute mile because and that might be diluted, but unless I get like hit by a car, we're hit real hard in the solar plexus. Now we know. My easy effort pace had been around a 10:30. I knew I'd get a boost from altitude. So I was like, worst case scenario, I could jog this whole thing at 10-minute mile. Would I be okay with that time? Yes. Yes, I would. And that's the way I like people to look at it. The worst case scenario, is not the worst case scenario. Some of y'all have anxiety and you can think of way worse things than I possibly could. This is not like, let's dread the scariest thing you could possibly think of. The German army moves in from the east with tear gas rolled all everybody. Like, no, really, what is the worst that can happen is that you have to walk. You have to walk a bit. Okay. We jog the whole thing then. Okay. What does that look like? Worst case scenario, you jog the whole thing. Can I handle that? If you can handle that, that is when I would consider signing up for a race and not a moment sooner. Because we talk about testing fitness and that's being what a race is for. And that's a really great way to make a bad decision if you know that you're going to fail that test or you know that your body isn't ready to be tested. It's one of the reasons I didn't run a race at all last year. I knew that I was not ready to be tested. I knew that I was not going to be happy with being out there, the feeling and the result. And so why would I put myself through it? Sure, people can call me a quitter all they want. I know people did. They did in my face. And I'm like, yes, and I'm fine with that. I made an empowered decision to do something that didn't feel good, that wasn't going to feel good. And I'm good with that. So when should I go back in? When it's a race that means a lot to you or you know what you need to get out of it. And that outweighs the fear. And my hope is that by training with me, with this guidance and our guided DIY approach, that day will come. Fear of performance related anxieties will always be there, but that's not about you needing more mental strength. I hate the way we talk about mental strength. That conversation for people that are like Steph Bruce, who are performance based and in the front. And it's not that we can't have performance goals, but we're hobby joggers, right? We are not trying to maximize the limits of human potential every time we run like she is, like Sarah Hall is, like we are in a different category, and that's okay. But the best I can do is not representative of what the best that could be expected from our gender, for our country, for the Western Hemisphere. We don't have those pressures on us. So with that in mind, what are you trying to prove and to whom? Think about that, because if you're trying to prove something to anyone other than yourself, you are setting yourself up for disappointment, and I would really rather you didn't. If we enter a race before you're ready to actually race it, I hope it's something like, my mom died of breast cancer and this is her favorite organization, so I'm going to go participate in this breast cancer walk. Cool, go do that. If it's something that means a lot to you, I'm never going to tell you to miss it. What I'm not going to be happy with is, this is the most important race. I did it every year with my mom before she died. It's the most important thing ever. And if I don't PR, I will have hurt my mom's memory. I'm like, we need to decouple this a little bit before you think about entering, I'm going to strongly advise you not to.
Yeah. And I really hope that, I don't want to put pressure on you. I really hope you decide to come to 3 days of the fair, because there are so many people who walk for days and days on end. And that's what they go there to do, is just walk loops. You will not feel alone at any moment that you are not running. You will feel like you are in good company. That's the only thing that I want to add to that.
And also, it's not going to be about performance. I'm probably not. And also this is not a normal race. If you show up and you get excited and you're like, oh my God, it's Coach Sarah, I'm just going to see if I can chase her. No one is going to pull you off the course.
Also, I'm going to be going hella slowly.
And there'll be people there. We've got a couple of people. I'm really excited about this. One of them has a chronic condition and she wants to run 100-miler. And I don't think I have permission to talk a whole lot about that yet, but I'm really excited at the prospect of this. Cause she knows this is 100-mile. This might be the only 100-miler I could ever do with my condition. And I'm like, well, then we're going to do it. We're going to do it. This person might need a pacer for a couple of miles at midnight when she gets tired. Because again, sorry, there will be some midnight miles because it gets hella hot in the middle of the day and we want to avoid the heat.
The midnight miles are the best.
Midnight miles are the best. It's quiet. It's well lit. It's the state fairgrounds. It's good. So yeah, there will be lots of different ways to participate where you could go and have a great time and do some running and then just throw some money, because it's a nonprofit. Most races are. You can just donate to the nonprofit, donate to the organization, say thank you to the race director for being there and taking up space and not having to worry about eating a sign-up fee. And,
or eating a cheeseburger. If you pay the sign-up fee, you get to eat the cheeseburgers whenever you want. And that is that is why I paid. I was like, if I want a cheeseburger at any point, I don't want to feel bad about asking for one. And also the swag is amazing. I paid the last minute
about
fee.
Her flannel.
I love my flannel.
Like you lived in Vermont.
Yeah. And my flannel is amazing. And I paid the last minute fee. I paid the $150 fee for the race that I did. And I still feel like it was worth it just for the swag. And we have someone here. You say hello?
Hello.
Hi, Roz. How are you?
Good.
You eating candy? Can I have some?
Ooh, that's a tough question.
We're not that close yet. I got it.
Go over well when I asked that question.
I just really wanted to know where I stood with you, Roz. Thank you.
If MK were here, would you share some candy with her?
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's okay. My kids
that just means you're human, I guess.
It's fair.
All right.
I'm only saying MK to some.
Say night to everybody.
Good night, MK.
Good night, Roz. Love you, sweetie.
Okay. Good night. All right. We got one last question in Rebuild. And our last question in Rebuild is also about running a race. Hi, I joined Rebuild about 6 weeks ago, not because I've had an injury or a break from running, but because I am brand new to heart rate training. And I realized that even though I've been running 5 days a week consistently since coming back from having my baby, I never really slowed down enough to build my aerobic base. That is amazing, by the way, that you said that to yourself and said, I should do heart rate. Like, that's awesome. I love it.
I love it.
I signed up for a half on November 24th before I signed up for this program. So I've been doing Rebuild Lane 2 and a progressively longer long run on the weekends. I did 2.5 hours last Sunday. I feel really good and I've gotten much better at keeping my heart rate at or below 140. My question is, how do I approach pacing with heart rate when I run my half next week? Are there certain heart rates I should aim for at different parts of the race or a cap that I should keep for part of it? I'm not going for a PR or time goal, but I think I can run faster than my 140 pace. Cool.
Yeah, I'm all for it. Here's the thing to remember. If you are postpartum and you're still breastfeeding, then you still have relaxin. Your body is still producing that hormone relaxin, the one that makes your joints nice and pliable and soft. So we need to be cautious and careful about anything above 140 because the effort levels there are creating more impact forces every time your foot hits the ground. It is doing more work. Your joints are absorbing increasing amounts of shock. And so we can go faster, but we need to be, again, not like and I don't know, she didn't give us this information. I'm not sure if she's breastfeeding or not. But if you are like in clear, you're like, no, actually I'm postpartum, but my kid is 4. Cool. Safe. I would use the generic guidelines of like the first half hour. I would try to keep it under 155. Second half hour, I would let it go. I would let it float a little bit like towards 160. And then in the final bit, you really want to be cautious because the longer that you're out there, the faster you're going to be burning through your tank. So if you've been really, really good about the strength, then your muscles may continue to generate power, but that's a big bet. So I would really try to keep it capped at 170 until you get to don't go. I'm not saying you have permission to go all the way let the doors off, mile 9, go up to 170, but rather just like be cautious, work your way up, but try to definitely keep it underneath 170. Don't get there too quickly. And then in the final miles, just stop paying attention and give it whatever you got, spread evenly towards the finish. But remember, the final miles, I'm talking about specifically when you hit the mile 11 marker, then you got, mile 11, mile 12, and then a little bit ahead of you. So you've still got potentially 20 something minutes of running left. So keep that in mind. You do not want to exceed 170 until you hit that point. And then, with the remaining 20 minutes, you can do whatever. But betting that you have more than 20 minutes available to you above 170 is a really big bet in a body that just went through trauma, and basically like creating and birthing a child is a traumatic event for your body. So that's how I would look at it. I would say like, you don't need to do anything differently than what I would advise my non-postpartum runners to do, other than stay in tune with your body. If something hurts now, it's going to hurt more later. And what are you going to have to show for it? If it's not a personal best, then let's keep everything sort of aligned and back off. Like if you can, I would rather you had a great controlled race where you feel empowered and in control from start to finish, knowing you could have gone a little bit faster, than have a really great 10-mile race with the last 3 miles not feeling good at all that kind of has you doubting yourself. So that's where I stand on that. That's kind of how I would approach it. But yeah, absolutely do it. Go have fun.
Yeah, have so much fun. Let us know how it goes, please. And that is our transition to Maintain, where we have some race shout outs to hand out, because a few people raced this weekend. No big marathons this weekend, but we have a few people in Maintain who kind of showed up for races that they had varying levels of feelings about and commitment to. So first of all, Christina Q ran the Brown County, and I don't know if this is the exact title of the race, Christina, so I'm sorry if I'm getting it wrong. Brown County, Indiana Hilly Half Marathon. And I know that you had some feelings going into this. I know you've had a tough week, including lice going into this. Oh my God. So first of all, you're amazing for showing up to the start and being ready to do this. And so here's what Christina wrote. The half was okay. Definitely not my best, but considering I started antibiotics on Wednesday, dealt with lice, woke up today at 5 a.m. for a race that started at 9, which is not my normal because I almost always run within 30 to 40 minutes of getting up. It was hilly. I think I got what I needed. The park is beautiful. The weather was a little cold, but not frigid. And I successfully implemented the plan I started with. And then she went ahead and posted her mile splits from Strava. And she had the most incredible negative split you have ever seen. Her last few miles, she just like blew it out. And it's incredible. It's a beautiful thing to look at. And everybody who saw that was just like, oh my God, you crushed it. So that's what I want to say. Oh my God, you crushed it. So proud of you. That's awesome. Congratulations.
Yay. That's awesome.
Yay. Yeah, made me really happy. Next, Amy Zerbowitz ran a 5K trail turkey trot on Saturday. Excellent race, she wrote. 38-ish minutes, 12:05 average pace. The best part was I ran by feel, started slow, picked up speed, even ran the hills and felt good.
Yay, I love that.
That's just really cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
5Ks on a trail. This thing, I've said this before. I'm going to keep saying it. The shorter a trail race, the more scared you need to be. Trail runners think it's funny when road runners show up and think, "Oh, this will be fun. I'll try this out. It's only a 5K and 8K." They're like, so like, I would do a 50K on a trail before I would do a 5K on a trail for that reason. I just don't trust trail runners. Love them, don't trust them. So very well done, I guess is what I'm trying to say, because I'm trying to imagine how hard a trail turkey trot would be around here if it was 5K. And you're winning at life.
Totally winning at life. And speaking of trail marathons, Amanda O'Brien, who I've met in person and who I love dearly, and I'm so happy you're in Maintain. Amanda O'Brien ran a trail marathon. Oh my God, she wrote. Wow. I ran a trail marathon today. I felt really good as anyone can feel for 20 miles. And then I started a new strategy of all the mantras and loving kindness meditations. I wished all beings with tired legs and feet, including myself, to be free of suffering over and over again. And it really helped. I also feel like this training program rocked, and I definitely worked it to fit my life. I wasn't perfect. I let that perfect BS effing go, and I did my tenacious damn best, and it was good enough for 26.2 of gorgeous trail on a gorgeous day. I am super grateful.
Good. And that's the point, man. When you look back, usually when people people run a road race, they look back and they're like, they worry about the runs that they missed, if they didn't have the day that they wanted. And it's like, when you're only focused about like a finish time, performance effectively related, nothing's ever going to be worth it. But to be like, you know what? It might not have been the best of the best of the best, but it was a great day. I felt good. I finished that and I didn't sacrifice anything in my life in order to be here. I just did it. That is as badass as it comes. It really is. I don't know why so many people will walk away from races feeling less than because time, when it's like, look at what you just did. You ran a trail marathon with only having trained on a treadmill on a cruise ship. You had a better day, frankly, than you deserved. Be grateful, be excited.
Yeah.
I'm always glad when someone has the perspective that they need and is happy and is excited, because it's really what we should be evaluating is, how good you feel. And under other structures, when there's a clock counting down and you're trying to get your money's worth out of the program, and every workout you don't do is money lost. And I just have never understood that mindset, but it's what, post 2007 runners with Garmin's bring to the table about trying to like extract value. Every workout misses money thrown away. And that's really a bad way to look at it. That's a great way to put pressure on yourself to perform in places where performance really shouldn't be expected. You just YOLO'd a trail marathon. That's amazing.
Seriously amazing. That makes me so, so happy. She posted a really beautiful picture too. It makes me so happy for you. And it makes me excited about all of the things that all of us have ahead in the next year. Yay. Speaking of next year, will the planning webinar be open to the public or just for members?
Nope. It is open to the public. Invite your friends, share it on your Facebook page.
Yep.
We were going to ask
have them RSVP, please.
Yes. Do have them RSVP.
Share the link.
A decent number. We've already got about 60 confirmed so far, which is really still a little shocking to me. I'm like, okay. But yes, this is open to the free world, where we were going to, what I want everyone to have is the same framework that I use to evaluate my own year ahead. So you're going to get to hear me sort of talk through how I'm approaching my year and the pieces I'm going to be putting together, and how you can use the building blocks that we offer at Fitness Protection to work for you. So there's going to be a little something for everyone, and it is absolutely open to anyone who wants to listen. There's never pressure to train with me, but like everything else, I'm kind of like, why wouldn't you want to? You've got nothing to lose.
Seriously. So I am putting the link in the Facebook comments. I am also putting it in the show notes for this episode. If you are listening to it in podcast form, the link will be in the show notes. Yay. Please join us. It will be super fun. If other people who are not training with us right now want to RSVP, that's great. Just make sure that they go to the link and RSVP so that we know how many people to expect.
Absolutely.
Yay. Thank you. Thank you for getting the word out. We really appreciate that. Next question on the subject of race day. 75 minutes, easy effort, long run today. Only 7 days to race day. The closer I get, the more terrified I get. My longest long run was 13.3-ish miles. How will I double that? Someone please talk me off the ledge.
It's all about time on your feet. Now, this is not to say that you're going to show up and magically run 5 minutes per mile faster than you've been running all this time, but that happens. I've done it. There's no way to predict when that's going to happen. It's usually a function of muscle power, but betting on it is what we don't need to do. That's the mistake I've seen people make when they're trying to estimate performance. You're going to be fine. You're really going to be fine. More time out there, more time on your feet would have just been more stress on your central nervous system, more stress on your immune system. You would have needed more time to recover, and we wouldn't be any further ahead. It would just be a lot, instead of a training cycle that's kind of like, so smooth like this, it would have been very choppy, as would have been, your mental state and emotions, because that stuff's hard. I have a hard time sending a super fit person out for a 5-hour workout. I have a much harder time sending someone who is not super crazy fit out to do one thing continuously for 5 hours. And that's just because why would you do that? I don't like doing anything continuously for over 5 hours. I'm not a hiker. It's hard.
Really hard.
You get sunburned, you're exposed to the elements. The longer you're out there, the greater the chances are that you're going to get hurt, or that all of a sudden the law of diminishing returns, once it kicks in, it's sort of like, why am I here? Why am I here? So more time on your feet isn't going to get you further. The final thing I'll say is this: most ultra runners you meet who consistently race 50Ks and 50 milers, the really good ones, they train the way we do. They run 6 days a week, maybe one day for cross training or swapping out a little bit. But generally speaking, there's 6 hours of ankles bearing your body weight type activity going on. Most of them, 5 out of the 6 are runs. And the longest long run they really do is like 4 hours one day, maybe 5 hours the next. And that's to do 50 miles. So the difference between your plan effectively and a 50-miler plan is strength, specificity, and adding in like 1 4-hour run. That is it. So keep that in mind, that it's not like, are you sure I'm going to be able to go 26.2? Yes, I am. I'm sure that you could go 50K. Longer if you wanted to, but that's how it works. The thing is, the trick of the matter is when you go out and you want to race it, which is what road runners want to do, ultra runners look at it a little bit differently. That the law of diminishing returns kicks in a lot faster. You're trying to go as fast as you possibly can without slowing down the walk. It's a totally different ball game. That's where the wall comes in. The great thing about being in the back and the really amazing thing about being, I see Nakia make some comments over here. If you ever get the chance to run with her, do it. She's got the best attitude towards it. It's not a less than type of thing to be in the back, and it's not a less than type of thing to walk. When I say it's a different race, it's literally a different race. And it doesn't mean it's a bad one. It's the best one, really, because you've got perspective on it and you've got perspective on what you're doing. And just like a trail runner, you're not bothered by needing to walk. You go when you can, you stop when you can, and you're going to take care of yourself all the way through. And that's really what matters, because this is not like race walking, Olympic race walking. That is some competitive stuff. They've got referees all along the course. If they see you jogging, you're disqualified. And that's hard. Race walking is hard. I say that not out of disrespect. It is a different sport. You can be pulled out of the race. Like it's something, I saw the figure the other day, like a quarter of all people who start race walking events are pulled off by referees for jogging. It's a huge
brutal
number. Yeah, it's pretty brutal. That is not going to happen to you at a road race. Like no one is going to ding you for walking. So don't do that to yourself. Am I sure you're going to be fine? I'm positive you're going to be fine. Because if you're not out there, again, trying to maximize the potential representing your gender, your country, the Western Hemisphere, whatever, or you're trying to keep your sponsor money, then the race really is in your hands and you can get what you need to out of the day without worrying like, if I slow down, what am I going to miss? What am I going to lose? It's rather like, if I go any faster than this right here, what am I going to gain? I'm hanging out right here. And that is the very definition of empowerment. And that is what people ahead of you will never get to experience in a race. Relish it.
Totally true. And the one thing I want to add is that if you go on the Coach MK and Coach Sarah Facebook page, there is a really amazing blog post by Latoya Shante Snell that I posted this week called How to Gracefully DNF Races. I drank up every word of it. It was so good. I thought that it's an amazing perspective on what you show up at a race to do and really getting real with yourself about that. And I recommend it so highly to everybody, not just people who are about to go run a marathon. Also, yes, Nakia said, good races are like mullets, business in the front, party at the back. And that is so correct. I agree 100%. And thank you for saying that. So we're with you. We got you. We are going to have you in our thoughts next weekend. And I'm really excited for you.
Same.
So, hi, coaches. A couple of questions. I know this has been answered before, but I forget how many weeks from the marathon are we supposed to stop doing strength? Second question, 2. Yes, the answer to that is 2. Second question is that I will have the second 20-miler on my schedule for next week's long run. I know from doing the first one that it was really hard for me to recover from. I'm thinking I should do less than 20. Opinions on that? Thank you.
That's fine. You are the best. You're the expert. You live in that body. And remember, I put a couple of 20-milers on there to give you more than one opportunity to do them. So that takes the pressure off of them. It's not mandatory that you do, or if you miss one and cut it down, you're reducing the possibilities of maximization on race day, because we don't have to look at it that way. There is generally one view of running that has been promoted, because all the people that make careers out of running and write about running and show up to running and report on running, we're really fast runners. They were collegiate level runners, and they speak a different language than we do. And they have a different perspective than we do, because they were running a different race. They're in the front of wave one. Most of us are much further back. It's a different set of incentives and a different viewpoint. And Latoya Snell's viewpoint, our viewpoint, is not widely represented in media. So this is why, I say this just to tell you that, to tell you this. You feel what you feel, and it's valid because it's all you've ever heard, seen, and known. But I promise you, cutting this rundown, listening to your body, saying, you know what, anything more than 16 isn't worth it. I'm done at 14. listening to your body is the most advanced thing you could possibly do. And I'm not just going to ask you to do it. I'm going to beg you to do that. So shoot. Yeah, you did 120 miler. You know what you need to get. I would rather you run 14 miles and show up feeling a little nervous and a little underprepared, possibly. Not to say that you will be, but feeling like you are, than showing up on race day feeling not fully recovered and overtrained. And if that's what we're trying to balance, then by all means, cut it down to 14. Further if you need to.
You got this. You've been doing this for months and months and months. You have everything that you need. You really do.
You have so much more than you think you do. When you maintain the way that we do, it really doesn't take much time to ramp up. And that's why 5 days a week goes way further than even 320-mile runs would do in a 24-week plan. It's absolutely true.
We'll be thinking about you. And I'm really, thank you for asking this question. It already shows that you're doing a really good job of listening to your body. Next question. I feel like I'm flirting with the onset of plantar fasciitis. Seeing a PT is not an option right now because my copay is $80 a visit with my health insurance. It's just not in the budget right now. I am experiencing some soreness in the arches of my feet close to the heel. I'm being more diligent with foam rolling to keep the soreness at bay. Are there other exercises I should be doing to prevent this from getting worse?
Roll out your shin splints, roll out your shins a lot. If you go into the Coach MK and Coach Sarah YouTube channel, all of my old live streams from doing the foam rolling routine over and over and over can be found there. Go get a really firm foam roller and get on top of your shins. If ever you've had a manicure, and if you're watching this stream right now, sorry, it's going to get weird in front of the camera. One of their favorite things to do is to massage, like they're playing a guitar, and see how my fingers are moving. Like they do this and your fingers move without you willing them to. It just comes from the pressure they put on the muscles and the tendons here. The same thing that happens here when you're getting massage should happen, or a manicure should happen in your foot. When we rub your shin down, your toes should move unbidden. If that isn't happening, then and yes, they should. If you're reaching down and feeling it and your toes aren't moving, well, my toes don't do that. Your toes should do that. You need to loosen up your shins. Loosen up your shins with the super duper duper firm foam roller. Put your entire body's weight on top of the point where your shin meets the roller, all the way up to the knee, all the way down to the ankle. And then afterward, there's another video. Sarah and I will go back and find the link, but I know it is in the Coach MK and the Coach Sarah YouTube channel, where I'm sitting in my bathroom with what's known as a therapist thumb. And I'm working in that little front area of the shin, underneath the shin muscle, that 3-inch space between the ankle itself and the bottom of the shin muscle. So working in there. There are nerves in there too, so you don't want to be too aggressive. But that area needs to be unglued. The shin needs to be unglued, and that will go a long way towards improving the plantar fasciitis. And the final thing you need to do is either taking that therapist thumb or the end of a rolling pin, or some sort of I cook so infrequently where they call the paddles you use to scrambled eggs. They have those long wood handles. The edge of that long wood handle, and press it. Work it into your foot, one in the center of your foot, about 1 inch ahead of your heel. So if you're watching the live stream, that would be right here at the top of your heel. Just work it back and forth, because that's where all the tendons in your ankle that keep your feet moving, they all converge in that area where the plantar fascia begins. So we need to loosen that area up, and then that as well will have, loosening and mobilizing effects all the way up the kinetic chain. So start with those two things and see if that doesn't make a pretty big difference right away.
And also toe yoga.
Toe yoga.
All the foot mobility exercises. So this is a question in Maintain. Help me remember at some point, get on when I'm doing Strength Live this week and remind me to do the foot mobility series. I will re-up that in the videos this week. If I don't remember to do it tomorrow, it will happen another day this week. And I will go through all 4 of the moves that Alex Lanton put in the July Rebuild Wednesday, because it was so, so good. And that is specifically tailored towards plantar fasciitis prevention. So,
and
yes,
I gotta say, you were so excited the first time you saw it on there. I'll never forget. You were so excited that you did not realize you were wearing, or didn't think about the fact that you were wearing a skirt and where the camera was positioned as you leaned down.
Oh my God.
I was like, oh, Sarah.
No, I did realize. I did. I
kept waiting until you were just. It was effortless. It was seamless. But I was just like.
Yeah, it was. I did realize, and that video is no longer. I was like, all right, whatever. That's done now. There's nothing I can do about it. I'm still in this. So I'm gonna just keep on going. And luckily, that is in the past, and hopefully, no one will go find it. It's in a private Facebook group. I was like, it's in a private Facebook group. It's okay.
It's a safe place. It's a safe space.
Safe place. So I did find the therapist thumb video. I'm pasting it into the Facebook comments, and I will put it in the show notes as well. Yay. It's a long video with a therapist thumb, but it's very, very detailed and very good explanations of everything that you're doing.
That was for the unicorns last year who were starting to get some for all the jumping I had them doing to get their
oh my God, so much jumping. Yeah.
Yeah. This is why you don't go from trail racing to road racing at the same distance in a short period of time. Like the things we're going to have to do to adapt your joints so they don't hurt on race day are going to hurt your plantar fascia today. So stay mobile, stay loose and supple.
Mobility is the best. Oh my God. My toes were tingling today on my foam roller, and I was feeling very grateful for all the things that I know now that I never knew before. 2 more questions, MK, and then you get to go watch The Crown. So I am planning to coach my local 10K and half marathon teams this year. How do I balance that with my own training plan and not overdo it?
Oof. When I was coaching at Lifetime, I didn't run with my runners. So I guess it kind of depends on what the structure of your program is like. When I was at the track on Wednesday nights, I was usually holding the timer, demonstrating moves, running around and correcting form. I did my workout before everyone showed up. And then on Saturday mornings, I would do my long run before everyone warmed up. So the way that I have been coaching in the past, it did not interfere with, or the way that I've been running, and my coaching did not interfere with my training because I viewed them as 2 separate activities. And the way that I coached, I was able to tailor it so that I wasn't required to run with everyone, but rather they would go on their run, come back. I would warm them up. They would go out on their run, come back, and then I would roll everybody out and cool them down. And granted, that was 2 children ago, back when I only had 2, and I was so excited to get out of the house. I would leave at 4 a.m, do my workout, then I would find my day would be done at 1 p.m. I was all in on being a Lifetime run coach, and I loved it. But that's why I was able to go all in on it. And that's also why it was never going to last. That sort of thing was not going to last forever. But for 5K, 10K, see if you can do the same thing. Be there to warm them up, to cool them down. And if you can avoid running with them and keep running this thing that is uniquely yours, you are less likely to burn out, because then the final note on this, nobody really wants their coach along on their run. They don't. They want to know that you care enough to show up. They want to get motivated to go out. They want to be held accountable to the group for showing up. And they want to know that you noticed that they did the work. That's really it. Unless you're in one of those unusual situations where your participation as a runner is not only required, it's expected. But again, that's super unusual. It's like expecting a teacher to take their own class. You want them to know the material, but you don't need them to take the test. It's really kind of the same thing with coaching.
Yeah. I do all the stuff that you guys do, but that's really because it's what I want to be doing more than anything else. And MK has told me many times that running is entirely for me and that I should never view it as something that I have to do specifically in the same way that you all do. And I take that very seriously. And yet I maintain is all I ever want to do for the rest of my life, pretty much.
It's kind of fun. Hot donuts were donut day is donut glory is amazing. Hot butter cider is fantastic too.
Woo!
It's good fun and it's good workouts, but also, and then again, this is a final note. If you're doing their runs as well on top of yours, if you can't get out of showing up, do you have to do the same workout that they do? You can always easily add a second run of the day. If you're doing your run in the morning and then running with them in the evening, could you just do a super short 20-minute recovery jog, heart rate cap 130? That would be fine. It'd be beneficial. You'd be probably hanging out with the people who would need you the most, the people in the back. There are a lot of different ways to spin it, but I would be very cautious of you doing harder workouts with them and with us, because you will overtrain. I would try to be like, do I need to do this? Yes or no? If no, great, you win. If yes, let's minimize the amount of what you're doing with them at making it a 20-minute, super, super easy recovery jog when you see them.
Yeah. Let us know how it goes. If you have follow-up questions with more specifics, ask away.
Yeah.
Last question. And then there are a couple of comments in Facebook that I want to get to. This may already have been covered somewhere, but if so, I missed it. If I want to run a 5K turkey trot on Thanksgiving, how would I adjust the day or days before? Take it away.
It depends on what you want to get. If you want to just show up and see what you've got, great. Make Tuesdays with 30-minute easy effort run, take Wednesday off completely, and then just race it on Thursday. You don't need that much of a formal taper to show up and really see how much power you've got in your legs for 30 or 45 minutes on race day. For anything longer than that, yeah, we would need a little more preparation, a little more changing and a little more taper. But for 3 to 4 miles, you're fine. Just go play and go have fun. But take Wednesday off. And Friday, if you don't feel fully recovered, because again, the intensity is going to take a number on, it's going to do a number on your joints. If you don't feel ready to go on Friday, that's not you being weak. Don't tell yourself, I was just a 5 miler. Remember, this person right here, Coach MK, does not run 5Ks or 5 miles that you can get away with it, because that ish hurts. The shorter the distance, the harder you go, the higher the intensity, the more pain you feel during and then after that race. So use good logic to make good decisions, not justify bad ones and make yourself feel bad.
All right. Another question coming from the Facebook comments. I have a question. I'm thinking about doing a 6-hour bout at 3 days of the fair. My first and only marathon took me 6 hours, and I figure signing up for 6 hours is a low pressure way for me to repeat this feat, or maybe more or maybe less, in a way that will still feel like winning no matter what. I'm in maintain. Should I just do a marathon ramp for this? Do you think I have a good plan? My goal was to do a marathon, but I also have feelings about my marathon time that I haven't quite processed all the way, and was hoping this might be a good way to train for something big, which I want to do without all the should things and secret goals.
I'm like, you could do the 6-hour race, but I'm like, why not? And just think about this. Sign up for the 24-hour race and then do whatever you want. An idea that I floated past my coach, his spring travel's really hard for me, and I really don't want to do a spring race. She was like, well, what's next? I'm like, I just want to get as fit as I possibly can. She's like, okay, but what race is next? I'm like, I don't care. She was like, okay. I never get that response. I'm like, and I told her about New York. I don't want to race again until I feel really ready. And I know I got work to do. I had a great day considering I was 12 weeks out from surgery, but I would love to show up again, having had a great training cycle, feeling strong. And realistically, that's not going to be in the spring. And I'm open to the idea that it might not be in the fall either. That's okay. I said, if you need some data though, here's one thing I could do. I'm going to 3 days at the fair. I'm going to be working the whole weekend, but I can show up on day one, which is the Friday. And if you need me to run a marathon there, I could do that. And then I'd have time to recover before everybody shows up later that evening for the Saturday morning silliness really, really kicking in. And she was like, that sounds terrible. I was like, yeah, no, it sounds really bad. And we looked at the start times for the half marathon, and they're not real desirable for New Jersey in May because they're on the later side, right? So if you remember what it felt like there, it was hot. It was hot and it was humid.
Oh my God. I was so glad to be starting at 9 p.m. I was the luckiest. I was the luckiest to be starting at 9 p.m. That was the way to do it.
But that's the thing. You can do so with the half marathon. I'm like, I could do the 9 p.m. or the 9 a.m. Neither one sounds great to me. But if I sign up for the 24-hour race and told someone ahead of time, like, where's the finish line for what would be the half marathon? Okay, then I can start it whenever I want. I signed up for the 24-hour race on the clock starts running on Friday, right? At 9 a.m. And then it closes on Saturday at 9 a.m., right? Yeah. I can get up and start my half marathon at 6 a.m. on Saturday morning.
Totally. Yeah.
And I get what I need to get.
The only thing you have to do is you have to start on the line when they start your event.
Okay.
But you just jog one lap and then go chill until you're ready to go,
A whole lap. I just
jog 10 feet and then go chill until you're ready to go.
Cross the start line and then go hide out in the cabin until the following morning. Yeah. Really race. Because one of the things I've talked about is I would like to qualify for New York. When I go back to New York, I would like to be with a qualifying time and a half. And I'm like, maybe we just work towards that all next year. And that's fine. And we use 3 days at the fair to see how fit I am. But if we do that, then that's how we would do it. It would be with the 24-hour race. That's the only way I could get my 6 a.m. start there. So I won't be doing that at 9 a.m. or in the heat of the day or at dead of the night. Because I can't see real good. You guys remember, I'm almost blind in one eye and I don't have good depth perception. If I can't drive at night, I don't need to be running for time at night on a farm. So I tell you that to say this. There are a variety of ways to look at this. This event is probably not going to sell out. They have a lot of different events you can participate in. They say it's 300 people, but it's not like 300 total over the 3 days. It's like some of the bigger events, the most popular events will be capped at 300. So you could do the 6-hour race and hope that you squeeze the marathon in, or you could do the 12-hour race and be like, I'll start with everybody, but then I'll go get my optimal marathon when the sun is set. Sign up for the 24-hour race and be like, you know what? I'm going to start my marathon at 4 a.m. And
I was just going to say that.
That's what's so awesome about 3 days at the fair.
Yes.
Everywhere else you go, it's a defined thing. You start here, you end here. Here's the water. Here are the toilets. Strategize. Here it's a loop. And it's awesome. And I'm there to help you make decisions. You will pass me. You will see me like once every 20 minutes minimum every hour that you're out there. And I can help you make decisions as you go. I'm going to be full on coaching that whole weekend. So knowing that you're going to have, a tool. Yes, I'm a tool. I'm saying MK, a great big tool that's going to help you make that day whatever it is you need to be. So I would say, yeah, if money is like the biggest and the only issue, I completely get it. Maybe there's somewhere else we can try to save on costs. But I would really encourage you to think maximally about what the options are, because the possibilities of what you could go there to do are endless.
Yeah.
Let's set you up for maximum success instead of like a whole lot of pressure. Like this is the first time you don't even need to have pressure. I just told you I'm going to sign up for a 12-hour race, possibly to run a half marathon.
Yeah.
And again, it's not because I like poop money every time I stand up. I mean, it would be really nice if I did. But it's like, what do I need to get? Now I have options. If I'm going to make this what I want it to be, why wouldn't I make this what I want it to be? And why wouldn't you?
I'm so excited. I'm so excited about all the people who have expressed interest, and I love it. So I love the way that you're encouraging people to make their decisions.
Just plan to go.
Yeah,
just plan to go.
Plan to go, but don't worry about signing up yet. Wait, give it until April and see how you feel.
Why wouldn't you? It's going to be a great party.
Right. It really is. It really is. I'm so looking forward to it. Woo! Hard work is done, but you know that the run doesn't end until you have a nice cool down and get on that foam roller. I have one last thing to read to you, and then I'm going to banish you off to your Netflix. But you're really going to love this. This is from Allison in the Facebook comments. I just saw you were on, literally just picked up my phone to order my pre-cooked Thanksgiving turkey and wanted to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for the most amazing decision ever. She repeats.
I hope she's talking about the Thanksgiving
She's
podcast.
talking about ordering her
Austin
pre-cooked
Market.
Thanksgiving turkey. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I make anything harder than it needs to be. I remember right before, when I was pregnant with Cheyenne, someone had almost talked me into a natural water birth using really scary language. The business of being born had just been public, had just gone out. And I'm like, this could be really dangerous. Oh, this could be really dangerous. And they were using footage from my hospital. I'm like, oh my God, I didn't know this was a thing. And I remember one of my friends that I've known for like 20 years, works in New York, very senior. She's the sort of person, like when she talks, people really listen. She's like super senior in an investment bank, but I mean, I've known her since she was like working in Thailand, which is to say I don't really listen to her. I heard her when she said this, MK, we have made so many strides. She covers healthcare companies. We have made so many strides in the past century when it comes to very little, honestly. Like after Grey's Anatomy, when we started understanding how things worked, we have not really progressed. We can't cure a common cold. We don't know how to cure a virus. We can stop a few, but we can't cure the common cold. We can't do much about much. But what we can do, the brilliance of science, is we can alleviate pain. Why wouldn't you alleviate pain if you had the option? Like this is not the thing to opt out of. And I really took that to heart. And I've really started thinking differently about when I would choose to do painful things. Do I get a bigger medal? Do I get more accolades? Do I get more credibility? The answer is no. And if I'm not getting the appreciation, then why the F would I spend the day making a turkey that no one's going to be super excited about or be complaining that they have to put cranberry sauce on to eat a sandwich for the next week. Who wants cranberry sauce sandwich? Like, I'm too tired of them already. Like, if you can't win, don't play. I opt out of all kinds of things. They say millennials ruin skim milk. I'm like, nope, I started that. It's awesome. Terrible. So yeah, get your pre-cooked turkey. Go to Boston Market.
Yeah. I like, tootle over to my dad's house 4 miles away. And he really likes cooking Thanksgiving dinner because means he doesn't have to talk to anybody because he's just busy in the kitchen. Yeah. So every time I'm like, Dad, what can I do? He's like, nothing. I got it. And that's because he wants to be in the kitchen, not talking to anybody.
That was my mom too. And that's a lot of people. That's their reality. And if that's why you're doing it, acknowledge the why. Just be like, no, I mean, then that's what I hear a lot of times too. People are like, oh, I love cooking. I'm like, I like avoiding my family too. It's all good. So but if like you're walking into a situation where nothing you do will be considered good enough, or you're going through all the motions because you think you need to do this thing. I remember just like they made a movie about that. It's called National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Why are you living it?
When you could be going to do a 5K with Anne from Texas while she avoids her in-laws.
Right.
That's what I would rather do. Go watch The Crown on Netflix, MK. You did your good work here.
Your coach, your love, your winning in life. Thank you for joining us for yet another segment of Ask Away. Coach MK and Coach Sarah. We will see you next week.
Yay. Thanks, everybody. Bye.